Hi, Fraser here, and I've started doing this thing where I draw and people can watch. This is something I've wanted to do for ages. I love watching speed painting drawings on YouTube, and the ones I like the most are the ones that come with commentary. Maybe that's because the person I'm listening to isn't me. However, that's about to change. So, I've been drawing for quite a while. Unfortunately, most of my drawings are done on huge stone tablets, etched straight in there, and then offered up to cosmic deities. As a result, a lot of my stuff doesn't make it onto the internet, which is probably why you don't know who I am. But today is a very lucky day indeed, because I am drawing something on a digital platform. So you may have noticed that I have this technique of random scribbling. I like to produce completely off-the-wall shapes and try and form something from that. It's a lot like sculpture, really, where I make a mess and then try and salvage the mess. Really, all the hard work happens in the beginning, just picking a good random shape. And the rest of it is just simplifying it down. Although, it tends to get more complicated most of the time. I also like to try and get a little concept in my head as soon as possible. The concept for this piece was two words, really. Face bat. I feel like face bat really encapsulated what it was I was going for here. So this is face bat. As you can see, I'm sort of detailing out the face. Always recommend, when you're going for some sort of boggled grimace, to have pupils pointing in completely different directions. And just snarl that mouth up as much as you can. Just snarl it right up. Wrinkles, also always great. If you have a flat surface there and it's looking a bit boring, throw on those wrinkles. So, Photoshop, huh? I'm a fan. I've used it for a long time, and I've got a lot better recently. Hotkeys are wonderful. Kind of got myself a little gaming number pad thing to attach all my hotkeys to, so you can see me rotate the canvas pretty quickly, and I can go up and down brush sizes and do all sorts of awesome things really quickly now. Whereas the first couple of years I was using Photoshop, that was a drag and super slow, and I never rotated my canvas enough because it was just so much effort. Kind of got out of that habit now, and it happens all the time. Maybe still not enough, but it's definitely improved. Everything is much less lopsided. Everything I draw anyway. Physically I'm abhorrent, so not much we can do about that. At this point, I've kind of trying to settle on some wings, because, you know, I thought I should probably speak about the drawing briefly. And I don't know why I've used such a thick brush. I love using when I'm doing this sort of image, which I guess is really just one step above a doodle. It's like a sort of sketchy paint. I love to use these light sketchy brushes, just so I've got a little bit more versatility, rather than going in with something too hard. And I'm not going to go over that again. I'd like to try and use that as sort of the basis, even when I get to colouring, really. So yeah, I love these little attacky claw feet. Yeah, they're pretty great. The wings, I was trying to do this thing where, like, the closer it comes to you, it kind of curls around and swoops in. It creates this nice line. It was at that point I realised that was going to be difficult to draw. In fact, why are these wings so big? What? That's really hard. Let's make them half the size. There it is, much better. No wings. No, I will put them back. And I did make them smaller, purely to make life easier. Also kind of toyed with the idea of having one of those, like, spiky ball things on the end of his tail. It seemed impractical though, so I ditched that. And yes, you did just see me copy and paste the other wing. I'll make no apologies for that. Completely intentional. Listen, really, if you hadn't been sitting here and watching me draw this and you just happened upon the image itself, you wouldn't have known. Don't lie to me, you would have no idea that I copy and pasted that. And where I can cheat, I will. So moving on to colour. I like to draw my base colours, in a lot of instances, underneath the lines. So here's that. I've picked a lovely greeny thing, greeny yellow, and then I pick a secondary. I like to work with two strong colours, because any more than that, and gosh, we're almost at a colour scheme, and that sounds like work. And look, so I've essentially just ripped off the colour scheme of Poir from Dragon Ball, Yamcha's friend, and I don't care. I realised it very quickly, and I've just stolen it. Now we've moved on, first of all, to kind of like get some shading in. It's nice to kind of get your base and then your shading, or I feel it is. You're building yourself up a template that just makes sense, really. So a base you can work on from. I really don't have any advice here. I pick a hot color or a cool color and throw it on top on a clipping mask generally, and then I just mess with what the layer style is and you know, overlay, multiply, whatever one looks cool. Because the last thing you want is to have anything cohesive in your artwork. You don't want to use the same things all the time so that your art is recognizable. You don't want people following you on Twitter because they've seen something they like, and they realize, hey, this guy might produce more things like this, and then inevitably you never do. And that's basically me all over. We're onto lips here. Beautiful lips. This is a big thing in the minute. You kind of slip into trends, I guess. But like big fat blue lips are just like an automatic go-to. You know how you have like muscle memory for these go-to bits? Oh, big chunky blue lips just make their way into everything. Making those eyes bulge. Shiny, shiny, bulgy eyeballs. And I think we're going to work some more black into that nostril. Called it. There it is. And the highlights, don't forget those. So yeah, this is basically what it is. It's sort of working back into it, really. Like I said before, you kind of view it as like building up your shapes through your highlights and stuff. See, I can make this sound like I know what I'm doing. I almost look like I know what I'm doing. But I don't. Absolutely don't. It's like monkeys with typewriters, really. I'm just a big trench coat full of gnomes, and together we can draw a half decent picture, honestly. So now you're working back in with your super darks. I guess super dark is the right term. I think we're pretty much getting to a point where I'm happy. I kind of settled on this being like a sketchy doodle thing, to be honest. Wasn't expecting to render this one all the way up, and I think that's a good thing. In the past I've got so focused on producing something that looks so incredibly finely rendered, almost to the point of it being rendered to a degree where no one is ever going to know how much time you spent, and half the time something with that looseness just looks so much better anyway. You know, you don't want to lose whatever dynamism you can get in the first place. He says when drawing a creature in an almost completely static pose. But I wanted to start off easy for my first video, so you need to give me a break. Like I've had opportunities to stream before, and that just seemed horrifying. I always thought if I was going to do something like that, which I always wanted to, I'd do it where I had a modicum of control as opposed to doing it live, which is kind of what this is all about, really. And I hope to carry it on. I don't want this just to be a flash in the pan idea. It's really nice to be able to share these things and talk. Also good to do that. Communication. This kind of art reminds me of Breath of Fire, I think the game was called. Never played it, but you come across all these things when you spend as long on the internet as I do. And yeah, I remember it having artwork that kind of influenced the way I did stuff like this. I recommend looking it up. I think there's a strange little website out there that has all of the game art sort of archived on it. But it's just another case of taking inspiration from wherever. Oh, here's another great artist tip. On the end of any limb, you just add some red. Just throw it in there, see? Everyone does it. Everyone has that phase, and I've not left mine. Did you see that? I went straight for that background color. I was like, yeah, I know what I want. It's that yellow. There it is. Fantastic. Here it comes. You there. You see that? That's the pepper. That's the little something. I'm just giving that background some spice. Nothing tangible or difficult, just some spice. Okay, There it is. Face bat.